Live from New York is Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, welcome to another fabulous summer Ask an Engineer. We're broadcasting live from the Adafruit headquarters filled with stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways.
So that was the show and tell.
Okay, that's a show and tell.
Okay, do you want to tell people how they can be on the show and tell?
Yep, it's super easy. Just go to my personal Lady Ada page on Google Plus and ask to be added to the circle for the show and tell folks, and I post once in a while and tell people to do that. And then when we do the show and tell, we'll invite you. And so if you ever want to show anything off, just do it now, because that way you won't forget and then be like, oh no, I want to show something off, and then I have something ready to go, and I can't. Mm-hmm. And we want all sorts of people to show up, new and, I don't know, veterans. Yeah. Okay, great. Let's move on to the news.
Okay, some news. Some cool things going on with the Menta and some 3D printing. You want to talk about
this is cool. So this is somebody, Todd Kurt.
Todd.
So usually it's somebody, but this time it's a somebody. So this is Todd Kurt's 3D printed Menta case. And actually it's interesting because it's something 3D printers really good at, like making a case. Because it's like really simple and repetitive, and there's not a lot of detail. So it's a replaceable case for the Menta.
He actually made it in two different heights, so like one height is like kind of short, and the other one will accommodate like a thick shield.
I like putting them in tins, but this is also really great. And yeah, you can make the height is taller.
And you can like pre-plan out where you want all your holes to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that goes for the Menta. So that's what's in the case there.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
To that.
Nice work, Todd.
Next up, Becky, you want to talk about this one? You can get in the screen there a little bit. Scoot over.
Over that way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Do you want to talk about this because you're going to be posting about this soon?
Yes, there's now what's it called? A requirement sheet, right?
Yeah, for the badges.
For earning this Ohm's Law badge.
This is the third badge fourth requirement sheet, right?
No, it's more than that.
No,
we've
there's
got
like
a whole
6.
handful
Oh,
now.
geez,
Yeah.
I have not been catching.
Yes, we've added this to the suite of Adam Kemp's requirement sheets for earning the merit badges of the future.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and he has 2 other things this week. For Ask an Educator is how can I control a solenoid or a motor with an H-bridge, and the other one is what are some STEM resources for making lesson plans. Both of those really good.
Good questions.
In the educator section on Adafruit, so do check that out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna keep moving along.
This is a Lego circuit board.
Where we have a little bit of bandwidth.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't. Look at it.
Oh boy.
Bandwidth low. Warning.
We have to become MTV, I guess.
I know, right?
Yeah.
MTV Movie Awards.
MTV Electronics Awards.
Bumping us. So what's this? This is a Lego circuit board. That's cool.
Yeah. So
this is designed by the same
This
guy
is Bruce. He did our Lego set. Yeah. And so what we need everybody to do is to continue to go and register and support the Adafruit Lego set. So we're up to like 1,585 votes. We need more.
Yeah, vote everybody, because we need votes.
10,000, then Lego will consider making it into a real kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to see a Lego kit that is for hackerspace, includes a laser cutter and a pick and place machine and an electronics workbench?
And this week Lego responded and they said they really like this idea.
They like it.
You can look in the comments. So everybody go out and vote. We'd really appreciate it. And we're going to have some banners on the site. We'll probably toss a little postcard in the packages.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really good thing. Before we get on to the new products, the code is Stitch.
10% off many things.
Including just for tonight only.
Like, I want to check this out. I do warn that a lot of shields and libraries are not yet compatible with it. And we're still seeing little bugs pop up once in a while because it's a whole new core. So much like the Mega, they had to rewrite a lot of the underpinning stuff to get it working. But
it's pretty cool and powerful and interesting.
Okay, so let's get into the new product section.
Okay.
New product time.
New. A lot.
Yeah,
all
we
on
have
the
a
table.
bunch, but it's all here.
Yeah.
All on the table.
All right.
As you say.
So first up, we got
the Leonardo's back in stock. So we had a small shipment, and then we got another small shipment, and so we have a couple in stock, and we want to make sure that everyone who wants to get one of these to play with, especially people who are willing to kind of not beta test, because it's gone through beta testing, but gamma test, just do a little bit more experimentation. Good for people who want to port their libraries or shields or their designs to the Leonardo design. Now's really a time to pick one up. It's cool. It's got a really nice bootloader on it that seems really stable and solid, which we're really happy about. And yeah, it's 10% off just tonight.
Yeah.
So you have to be watching it live for. If you're watching the recording, it's not valid anymore.
And here's a shot of the back. If folks want to see front.
Yeah, nice back.
And back. All right. Next up, we have these keyboards.
Yeah.
That actually says keyboard on it.
In case you forget what it is.
That's the only thing about it. I wish it didn't just say keyboard on it. But what are you gonna do?
Right.
Yeah.
Go to the overhead.
I can show some of the overhead. Yeah, this is small enough that I can fit it on the overhead pretty nicely.
Teeny tiny little keyboard.
This is the smallest keyboard I could find that is both PS2 and USB. So it's actually a USB keyboard, but if you plug it into this adapter and then you plug it into a PS2 port, it'll initialize it PS2 as well. So that's kind of nice because for like BeagleBone or Raspberry Pi or the boards that we have that have USB, you might want to use the keyboard HID. But if you're using a microcontroller, you can use our PS2 breakout, which brings it up to some wires, and then we have links to a library that works really well, so you can type and enter data into your project. So this could be really good for a project where you want people to type something in. And I really like the feel of this keyboard, and yeah, it's like super small. I have small hands, so it's even smaller than you think it is because my hands are like a women's small.
Right.
Maybe Ada, can you put your hand on this?
No, I'm too far away.
Too far away.
Yeah.
But hold it up. But it's a very small keyboard, so I think it's really nice. You can probably fit it in like your pocket if you had a fairly big pocket. So I think this is a good companion.
Cargo pocket.
Cargo pocket. Yeah, sure. Don't you wear like BDUs?
Okay. What's the adapter on it? People want to know.
It's just a pin-to-pin adapter. Any keyboard that can do PS2 or USB, inside. It figures out based on whether it sees USB signals or PS2 signals, which one to interpret. So use it with either.
Okay. Next up, motors.
Yeah, we have a new little stepper motor. So we had another stepper motor that unfortunately I'm going to have to discontinue because I can't really get them anymore. So instead we're getting these, and this is one taken apart. This is the motor itself. I wanted to carry a small basic stepper so that people who wanted to mess with stepper motors, something that if they just wanted to practice moving stuff around, you can use this with transistors or with our motor shield. So it's really easy to get going, and it's low power. This one's actually 5 volts too, so you can, and it's low current, so you could actually drive it pretty much directly from a microcontroller. You don't even need an H bridge if you're careful. You can use a couple transistors, and the only thing that's a little annoying about it is it's geared down. That's kind of good and it's kind of bad. So inside there's I think 1 to 48 or 1 to 64, I don't remember offhand, gearing, and so you can see the little gear box in here. And so the good news is it means that the motion's very smooth because it's geared down. You don't have to microstep because the motion is geared down, so the motion that as it turns is very smooth. And it's got a lot of torque because it's the trade-off. But it's slower than most stepper motors because it's not a super fast stepper to begin with. It's not really very,
What's the steps rev equivalent for this one?
Everything's on the product page. So for all that detail, it's all there, including the fastest speed you can run it at.
But it's strong, so it has a lot of torque because
it has
you're
a lot of
so
torque.
You can turn like a heavy thing.
It has the same torque as our big square 12 volt, but it's much smaller.
That's cool.
But it's not as fast. Like you wouldn't be able to use this to move something really fast. Also, you can't turn it by hand. So some systems you might want to have it so that you can move it. You could twist or move it. So this you can't.
Right. Like so you can't use it. Would be hard to use that one as a generator because it's so hard to turn.
You can't use it as a generator, and for you can use it for like an XY table, but you just couldn't move it on your own. If that makes sense. Like even when it's not energized, it's quite solid because it's geared down so much.
Right. It requires as much force to turn it as it has to turn.
Right.
So.
But it's a basic low-cost stepper, so I think those trade-offs made it worth it for me to have something for $5.
Okay. Next up, we're going to go through these. You can show the couple of different colors.
Yeah, these are super easy. We got more colors of the little grids.
8x8 miniature LED matrix.
Yeah, so these are cute little grids.
Those are green if you can't tell.
This is green. Yeah, this is green. They're really bright. And these are ultra bright. And then they're super teeny and they fit into a breadboard really nicely. So this one's green, and then I'll plug in.
We already had the red one, but we just got in the green and yellow ones.
And now we have yellow as well. And then I'll try to also get like blue and white, although they're going to be a little bit more expensive.
It's like one of my wires.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, now another one.
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
We got the green and yellow ones. I was singing the green and yellow summer camp song to Phil, and he didn't.
I don't even know what you're
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we have
Some of the audience members have to know the song.
So we have red, yellow, and green of these cute little matrices.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see. There.
Be great.
Yeah.
You can make like a tiny little Pong game on top of an Arduino.
Micro Pong.
Yeah.
Because it has an output display.
Let's keep moving here.
We're moving.
So we have a new 7-segment display color too in the 0.56 digit height 7-segment displays. We already had blue and what was the other one we already had?
We had yellow, green, and blue.
Yellow, green, and
what's
blue.
funny is I had ordered red, but for some reason they didn't ship the red till like last week. So
now we have red.
So now we have red. These are super, super bright and really beautiful, nice even color, very, very visible.
Oh, how many matrices can an Arduino drive? Just going back to that, how many could it drive?
If you use our super secret product, then using I2C you can drive 4 at a time.
The one that's coming out?
The secret one.
Oh yeah, very soon. Very soon you can drive
4.
More than you'll ever need probably.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's like cats. You shouldn't probably have more than 4 cats.
No, you shouldn't have. I don't think you have more than 3 cats.
I think 3 cats is kind of the max.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
So more on that coming up.
You're done? You
Yeah.
got one? Okay.
Do you have more names for the next thing?
Here it is. It's off. Here it is. It's on the side.
The red ones have a black front, and the other colors, the 3 other colors, have a gray front.
But that's kind of
cool.
According to the factory, that is what looks best for the contrast.
Yeah,
so I trusted them.
Okay.
Cool.
We'll go through this, and then it'll be Becky's the star of the show tonight. We have some Raspberry Pi stuff, and then we're going to get to the new cross stitch kit. So it is time to talk about Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
It's that time.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. All right.
Are you ready?
First up, we got this cable.
Yes, this is an RCA cable. It's 6 feet long, and it's kind of your standard gold-plated RCA cable.
How much?
I mean, it's kind of the cable you've always known that you would need if you're doing composite video, and this is it. And since the Raspberry Pi and some future project that we're doing, well, actually the Y-Box and the already have composite video, we wanted to have a cable for people, and we like this cable. It's a good quality cable.
Yeah.
If you have a Raspberry Pi, you should get a cable.
Okay. Next up, GPIO cables for the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, this is the cable. We got these are the custom cables that we got. They're 6 inches long, and they plug into the Raspberry Pi. We wanted to kind of fill out our Raspberry Pi section with all the stuff that people were asking for. So with this cable, you can have your Raspberry Pi in one location and then access the GPIO pins through the ribbon cable. So that's kind of handy if you want to plug this into like a daughter board or like something like that.
And we'll have a post on the site soon. There's a really cool person that started to do some Linux hacking. So you can just like pop some LEDs into the other end of this right now.
You can get power and ground, so you can actually just plug something in if you get the right pin.
And it's kind of neat to be controlling LEDs from like a command line. That's fun.
That's
fun. For sure.
Shell scripting. Your LEDs.
Someone wants to know what would the other end of the cable plug into?
You could plug it into like a PCB, or if you have a perf board with header in it, you can use that.
We'll also have a product for it shortly, right?
Yes, that's really not out yet.
Yeah.
I didn't even mention
Super
it.
not
super
even.
not out.
Yeah. Well, a bunch of stuff for that.
Mega.
Next up, and this is the thing that Phil Bergez worked on, and we debuted this week. This is I think one of the best and only cases.
The only case.
Well, no, there's ones out there, but I think this is one of the best. It requires no screws, no glues. It snaps together.
It's very cool. With
and
your
here it is.
Yeah. So yeah, this is also showing the GPIO cable. So this is the plastic case, and I have this Raspberry Pi on, and we're not going to have time to show it actually doing stuff, but maybe in a future episode we will. But yeah, this is a case that kind of holds everything steady, and it's rattle-proof, and it's super solid, and it's clear, so you can see the LEDs inside, which is important because they're indicator LEDs. And yeah, it's got labels, which is kind of nice too. So it's hard to see, but in the photos you can see it says video out and composite out and Ethernet, USB, HDMI, in case you can't remember. And then we've got the parts, and I'll demonstrate without a Pi how to put them together. So you put the bottom and top into a side, and then snap the other side in. So now you've got a 4-sided sort of cube ready to go. And then, so this is the fun part. Normally we would use screws to hold it together, but instead you take the end and you hook the end onto the dragon claws.
Dragon claws.
And then on the bottom there's a little spring made out of the acrylic. There's a spring made out of the acrylic which holds the this side together, so you can kind of see this little spring. And then on the other side, you just do the same, and snaps in, and then that's it. So now you have a solid case with no glue and no screws. And then it's a little bit loose because there's no raspberry pi inside, but once you have the pi inside, the connectors kind of hold it against itself, and so that it becomes a little stronger and more solid. And we wanted to basically have a case that you could put together and take apart really easily. You can also use it without the top on, which is really nice. So if you want to poke at stuff,
driving down with the top down.
That's right.
For those hot summer Raspberry Pi months.
Well, it's summer. It's easy to put together, and we also want to be able to kit it really fast. And so this is kind of nice because this is the first time I think I've seen springs used in
laser cut
acrylic. So
it's a really cool design, and I'm going to make a video about how to put it together so you can see it really super close up.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It is tough because it's like a white background with the clear case.
I know.
It's always hard to, but we like clear cases.
We need to have a black plate for this.
Okay, cool. So that's the new products.
So now
that I have to present.
Oh,
it's time for Ohm Sweet Ohm.
Okay, pick time.
This is it. My first Adafruit product.
Yeah, and we'll also have a little star. There's your dog, Olive.
That's my dog.
Yeah.
Olive.
All right.
Did your dog go
Yeah.
like
So
that?
tell us about this.
No.
Tell us about this.
She's usually running around too fast to take any pictures of it all.
But she likes just hanging on the couch.
Yeah. So this is the cross stitch kit that I designed. It's a resistor chart and a wall plaque, or you can sew it into a pillow or whatever, and it helps you read resistors in a really nice style. So there's lots of cool posters out there, but if you want to do some crafty thing for your hacker space or your electronics workshop, or like someone you care about's electronics workshop, this is the kit for you.
This is like a dream come true because I've been listening to Kraftwerk since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And I've always thought like how cool it would be to have an Ohm Sweet Ohm like sampler cross stitch thing.
Here you go. Here it is.
And so I was like so happy that like 12 years later I met someone who could design a cross stitch, because I was like I just didn't know how to do it myself. So I was like, Becky, can you do it? And you're like, yeah, it's totally easy.
Yeah, totally.
And I like it because first off, it's an easy cross stitch.
It is because it's mostly rectangular.
It's rectangular.
No crazy like dithered unicorns.
There's no
or anything.
unicorns, and there's no unicorns.
I do like unicorns, but
we're gonna make a dragon one.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
And there's a lot of, it's colorful, but it's not like crazy colorful. But it's really easy. It's very useful.
Yep.
And
beautiful.
It's cool.
Decorative.
It's like you could actually hang this up, and like it would just be really neat.
The other one, so there's two of them. There's the first one that I made, where I made all the changes and was changing all the time. And then we wanted to test the pattern. So this is the test pattern one that my mom made.
Yeah.
So I have the one that's framed and hanging over my electronics workbench, so I can just and I actually use it whenever I'm reading resistor. It's very handy. And then my mom made this one to test the pattern and make sure all of the instructions were really clear.
Yeah.
And
I kind of want to make one now. I've never had time, but now I'm like, this is cool.
It's really fun and it's pretty easy. And we have two videos about the project. Basically, we have one showing you the kit, and then we have another video in case you've never done cross stitch before, like you maybe. You can. There's a video about.
You did this for fun.
Basics of cross stitching, like how to do the stitches and follow the pattern, and then that'll get you started. There's also a photo tutorial on
Do you want to?
Someone wants to know what's the resistor value shown on there, right
there. It's a 47K.
Yeah.
Do you want to show up what's in the kit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, show up what's in the kit.
All right.
What I like about this kit is that we made it more complete than most kits. Because most kits are meant for people who are cross stitchers already.
Most kits are made for people who are cross stitchers already. You get them at the fabric store, and it's just like the floss and the instructions, and that's maybe it.
And also, you have do they have color instructions like this? Because this is a really nice instruction.
Usually, sometimes they're color, but usually, anyway, when I was a kid looking at these things, they were in black and white, and they are, and they use symbols instead of
colors.
So
crosshatch means this, and stripes mean
or an at symbol, and it's kind of hard to read, but it's there. Here is all the floss that comes in the kit.
You got gold floss.
Yeah, gold and silver. All the floss is DMC, which most people know if they know cross stitch and embroidery is the standard, with also
it's color fast.
It's color fast, and all the dye lots are the same. So we tell you.
To worry about.
Yeah, we tell you we use 444 yellow. You can go get 444 yellow, but we also have these gold and silver which are not DMC, but they're just as good.
But they're really nice.
Yeah. So sparkly for the gold and silver on your cross stitch, and then in the kit also comes this full color pattern that we printed.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a grid of pixels, and then you also get these nice instructions, including a bill of materials here with the floss amounts and some cool cross stitch instructions if you've never done it before.
Yeah, and I like how this comes in. It's hard to see, but there's a grid. And so, because I was wondering, like, how do you know where to start? But now I see that
you start in the middle.
You find the middle because it's labeled here. There's an X here, basically.
Yeah.
That shows you the middle. And then, yeah, you can just, like, basically start,
There's these arrows here on the edge that show you, like, where the center line is.
And then there's a grid, and they're darker lines every 10. So that's kind of nice.
Yep. So in the video, I show you how to start in the middle of your project. And then, so this PDF of this pattern and the instructions are on the downloads section of the product page
for
for
people
this.
who are experts, they can just get this stuff on
like if you already have a hoop and fabric, you can just get these that amount of floss and get going. You'll also get an embroidery hoop, a really nice embroidery hoop with the extra grippy lip on it.
Yeah, you said you really like this lip. It's
really kind of critical. The fabric goes...
Otherwise it slips. You want it to double over so it doesn't slip out, because you want to keep it nice and taut.
Yeah, exactly. And like pulling on the fabric all the time is not fun. So you have a really nice plastic hoop that you can reuse for lots of other projects later, and then you just get the cross stitch fabric, which is specially woven to have these holes.
Yeah, this is
every it comes in different sizes. This is 14 squares per inch.
Oh, I see. I was wondering what is 14. I was like, what is that?
14 count Ada cloth, it's called, coincidentally. DPI, 14 DPI fabric. And then 2 cross stitch needles, which are different than the other sewing needles we carry because they have a blunt tip.
Yeah.
So that they go through the holes in the Ada cloth and not...
They also have a very large eye.
Right, and a large eye, which is easy for threading.
Yeah, so you can do this, it doesn't hurt at all. Well, it hurts a little bit. But yeah. Yeah, I can see that the eye is much bigger, but it's still, you can see it's very flat, so it'll go straight through. You'll be able to pass it through the gap, because the fabric actually is still fabric. You could puncture it in the middle.
Right.
You don't want to.
Right. So you give you 2 of those in case you lose one, like I do. And yeah, that's the kit. And so basically, like everything that comes in the box, you can get started doing it right away.
Basically, you just need a pair of scissors and you're immediately
A pair of scissors and you're going. Yeah, which is really fun.
I like that because I was thinking, because we were looking at other cross stitch kits, and you're like, oh, sometimes they come with the floss but no needles, and like they never come with a hoop. But I'm like, man, then I have to go find a hoop. Where am I going to go find a hoop?
I know. So you don't even have to go to the craft store if you get the kit.
Yeah, and then you just you can frame it using any frame from like a photo store.
Fits. The Ohm Sweet Ohm design fits in an 8x10 frame.
It's a standard photography frame size.
Yep, you can get that at wherever frames are sold.
Frame store.
And then I just whipped up this pillowcase with like a pillow blank, like a square blank pillow from the fabric store, and then
go to the larger
sewing. That's cool. You can see the close up of the stitches.
Oh, you want to go back to the...
Yeah, I like that one. See, look, and I made the sparkly, and the flowers for accent to make it not just a standard
digit
chart.
1, digit 2, X tolerance.
And the cross stitch tutorial shows you how to do that back stitching,
and then this
outlining
is
stuff too.
Okay.
47 ohm. So 47k ohm.
Yeah.
Plus or minus 5%.
And I did have that video, Becky. I found it.
Oh, you want to show it?
Yeah, Becky has a video.
All of this stuff,
yeah, maybe we'll take a break and show a video.
Here's a video.
This is the resistor chart cross stitch kit from Adafruit. It's a useful electronics reference handmade by you. Hang it above the electronics workbench in your hackerspace or in your workshop, or sew it into a pillow for a great couch accessory. This kit comes with everything you need to stitch up your fabric, including a color-printed pattern and instruction sheet, as well as a hoop, needles, floss, and fabric. If you're a cross-stitch beginner, click anywhere in the video now to watch our introductory cross-stitch video. It goes over the whole process of cross-stitching, from the materials you use to the techniques involved, so check that out if you're new to cross-stitch. Basically what you need to know is it's a network of small X's that build up a picture, much in the same way that pixels build up a digital image. The pattern for this project is available on our website, and it includes a complete bill of materials if you want to source them yourself. To frame it, wrap the project around a piece of cardboard and quilt batting, and put it in an 8x10 frame, which you can find at your local craft store. Sure, framing it is nice, and it's really handy right next to the resistor drawers, but what's the other option? To make a pillowcase, measure your pillow and then grab some fabric that's the same size. You'll need a front and a back. Then pin on some barn doors to your cross-stitch design, and stitch in place with a straight stitch followed by a zigzag stitch, so that when you cut off the seam allowance, the seam doesn't fray. Iron your seams open, and repeat the process with a panel on the top and the bottom to comprise the rest of the pillowcase. Measure to confirm, and with right sides together, stitch all the way around the perimeter of the pillowcase, leaving an opening to put the pillow in. Turn the case right side out and use something pointy like a knitting needle to push out the corners. Stuff your pillow in as best you can and reach in to reshape it. Then all you've got to do is close that remaining opening. You can pin it shut and stitch it by hand, or you can give it a quick straight stitch on your sewing machine. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Right, Olive?
Yeah, you guys should probably subscribe.
Okay, we're back.
All right.
All right.
Nice work there, Becky.
Yeah, I've got a couple things to show.
Oh, do you want to do the? No, it's not yet. Or?
No, this is still. These are out. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
these are the new. This is the new Adafruit packaging. We'll show it over the overhead in a second. They're all black boxes and they're anti-static as well. That was the necklace, the eye necklace, and these are the cufflinks. And in addition to it being like black and cool looking and gothy, it's anti-static, so you can save this box and use it for your electronics.
Yeah, we wanted to. Well, we're starting to do more packaging stuff, and we wanted to have black boxes because
They're more goth that way.
we're more gothy.
Yeah, so you can show it over the overhead. Show the cufflink ones first. So Father's Day is coming up, and every year dads get cufflinks that don't light up and don't look cool and aren't open source.
Yeah, so we have we have the barcode here. It says Adafruit, and then the product name, and then there's this really nice kind of schematic-y image.
Yeah.
And that's
then
a glossy sticker.
A glossy sticker, and then there's the text and another image, just grabbing it, and then on the back it tells you that this box is
It's a special box.
So it's really cool because you can then reuse this box to store your electronics in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
you can show the necklace one too.
And the cool thing about anti-stat boxes is that even though they're conductive, they're only slightly conductive, so you can actually attach electronics to it and it'll work fine.
Yeah.
Because the resistance of the box is extremely high.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not made out of metal or anything, so you can like attach stuff to it and pretty much, unless it's super sensitive stuff, it'll work. So, and we really like these boxes, and they're made in California. It's cool too.
Nice. We upgraded the inside too with some black.
Yeah, in fact, one of the things that we can actually say is that our boxes are made in the U.S. The aluminum and the milling and the circuit boards, all North America. All the electronics are the USA, and our aluminum is milled by Mike Dole in Canada.
Yeah.
So and we like the idea of nice packaging, but not if it doesn't do anything. So if it's just decorative, it's kind of like a waste. But if it does something like anti-static,
I hate those plastic things you have to cut
the
with.
blister packaging, I'm not a fan of.
Dangerous,
And
You
so
cut your eye.
yeah,
Ah!
so this is going to happen to a lot of the Adafruit products. So
starting with perhaps the most
starting with these.
high
Well,
fashion.
this is because the retail resellers were like,
Yeah,
well, we
they-
can't
they
really
wanted-
hand somebody
they wanted
like
nice
a
boxes.
plain
box
white
with
box.
text on it.
What is
I
are the boxes open source? Well, you could.
They're made out of cardboard.
They're made out of
Cardboard
cardboard.
boxes.
I mean, they're made out of molecules and atoms, and there's really, you can make it yourself.
No, you can just you trace out the cardboard and then.
Yeah,
you
you'd have to get anti-static
But the good
materials.
news, the good news is that you can actually just grab some cardboard right now and make a box out of it just by cutting it into like a T-shape.
There's lots of box designs online.
Yeah.
free
That's
box
true.
designs.
A couple quick questions. Can they get a milled aluminum case for the Beagle Bone? Yes, but not from us.
Not from us.
Yeah.
And,
You
and
could
it'll
post
probably
up
be.
looking for one in the Adafruit's job board.
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, like,
And
there's lots or post on like the Etsy wanted things, because there's lots of like machinists who are out of work who would love to mill you something custom out of a block of aluminum.
But it would be like
A couple more
$7.
questions.
Yeah,
What breed is your dog?
She is a pit bull.
Okay.
Red nose.
Can we order a box of boxes? Eventually we might allow people to just buy a flat pack of black boxes from Adafruit.
We don't have enough yet.
We don't have enough yet. Yeah.
Because we have to order them in
This
big
is-
batches, and so we have.
Yeah, this was a special order.
We want to keep the ones that we have because it takes a long time.
Let's see. Now that the Leonardo's out, is the 32U4 breakout board going to use an Arduino bootloader?
It might in the future. Right now, it does not.
Okay. All right, I think we got through the
You
new
wanna
products.
do It's Not
So
Out Yet?
yeah, we'll do It's Not Out Yet. So anyways, for Father's Day, if you order these, they come in this beautiful black anti-static box. So you can give Dad the present and then take the box
And then take the box.
and then say, Dad, you don't want that box.
There's a littler box inside, a velvet box. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just give them that box.
So.
cool. Those are nice.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So let's go to everyone's favorite segment. You know what that is? It's not out yet.
Oh, I thought it was the free cake segment.
The free cake? No, we don't do that anymore. All right.
Too many accidents.
too many problems with that. All right. Yeah, it's not out yet. Don't ask. All the things we're going to show you. Don't ask questions about it.
Okay.
What do you want to show?
I thought I would just show off these segment drivers.
All right.
So we have these really cool 7-segment LEDs, and we have these 8x8 matrices that I showed off, and we have them in all sorts of colors. But the problem is that you need a lot of pins to drive them. Like these require, the 8x8s require 16 pins, but you can use a shift register, but then you have like 3 chips involved or 2 chips involved, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. And like these are also require, like they require like 14 pins, or you can use shift register. It's still like, it takes up there's actually a lot of components required to drive these, which was kind of unpleasant. And so we were, for a couple months, trying to figure out a chip that could drive them. And then there's the Max 7219, but it's really expensive. It's actually kind of a little bit too expensive, I think. Like it's $10. And so I was like, well, I want to find something that's much more reasonable to drive. So I did. I actually tried out like 3 or 4 different chips on the market that are I2C LED drivers. And so I made these little breakout boards for them. So this is the 7-segment. This is the yellow one, so it has the gray face. And there's some mounting holes on the side, and then it uses 4 pins. It's an I2C, which I'm down with. And then there's the driver chip in here, and then you can select the address from 3 pins. So you can use 8 of these on one I2C bus. And we have a pretty easy to use Arduino library for them. And so you can use I2C and control the pins. You can't do PWM on them, but for just displaying stuff, it works really well. And then we have one for the little mini display as well.
That's awesome.
So this also has a chip and 2 address select pins, so you can connect up to 4 of these at a time. And so yeah, using I2C. So you can use this with like a BeagleBone or a Pi or anything else that has I2C as well, which is really handy. So this way you can drive these, and you're using the I2C bus, and so you're only taking 2 pins, and those pins can also drive sensors and stuff. And the chip kind of does everything. It has its own free running clock, and it does all the bit banging, and it has constant current built into it, which is really nice. So
Never been easier.
You get super even colors no matter how many are lit up. So yeah, so we'll have these out really, really soon now. But I want to show them off because people kept asking, like, these are really cool, like big matrices, but then how do I use them? So we'll have them. We'll have these drivers out.
Great.
Okay. Is
But it's not out yet.
Is that it for It's Not Out Yet?
That's it.
Oh no, there was another thing.
No, you know what? That's gonna be next.
You don't want to show the other thing?
No, I'll save it for next time.
Yeah,
Okay.
next time
I
we
tried,
try it.
guys. I got shot down. That's all right. It's
Only
fine.
one. We only need to show one thing,
Okay.
I think.
All right. Okay. So that was
We have
It's Not Out
packaging.
Yet.
We showed
Yeah, we should that. No, that's
It
new.
is out yet.
Yeah.
It's out yet, but it's
All
not
right.
announced yet.
So we're gonna go to general questions.
Soft launch.
Questions.
This is a
Ding,
soft
ding,
launch.
ding.
It's totally
Very
soft
soft.
launch.
Engineering questions.
So soft.
Questions about cross stitching. Questions about everything.
I've inherited my mom's cross-stitch expertness,
Okay.
so therefore I am your resident.
How many hours?
Oh,
do you think
one
it's
quick thing.
40.
The code is
No, how
Stitch.
many
Everyone,
total for you?
code is Stitch.
Your life.
How many hours have I cross-stitched?
Yeah. Like hundreds.
Oh my god, yeah, hundreds.
Hundreds
All
of hours. Hundreds of hours of cross stitch experience.
Okay, ready? Let's see. I can do this one. Any news on Florida or A Division availability? Yes. Florida will probably be out over the summer, and A Division probably over the summer too. We have a little bit more testing to do, a little bit more production to do.
But we have all sorts of cool stuff coming out right now, so you can
Yeah.
check that out.
Yeah. Let's see. Any good introductory resources for I2C?
I don't know of any offhand, but I bet you could use Google to find some.
All right. Like, ooh, these are all good ones for me to answer.
The RGB pixels are the first thing I used that used our I2C that I
No,
actually
they
looked
use
at.
SPI.
When will the Raspberry Pi product line be available? Well, we have all the stuff in the Raspberry Pi section. We have the case that you can sign up to order because we sold out
We
real
sold out
fast.
instantaneously.
We'll make more really soon.
Yeah. We have the Pi plate that should be in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You can sign up for as well.
Yeah.
So it's happening.
We had to get more than one Pi in. I didn't want to risk
Yeah.
it. I wanted to get a full release. We had a pre-release Pi, but I wanted to get a release Pi. And we also had to order these special headers. But
Okay. Next up, how would I go about converting the current output from a DAC to a voltage output?
It depends on what the output of the DAC is. If it's a voltage output, then you're set. If
Okay.
it's current output, you can use a resistor.
Next up, have you used the NXP544 chip, and how is it different than the PN532 board?
I haven't used it. So.
Okay. 433, 434 megahertz, and 900 megahertz. What are the main pros cons of each? Which would be best for my high altitude balloon project?
higher frequency means you can transfer more data, but it doesn't go as far. So lower frequency, you can transfer less data, slower, but it goes farther. So that's why when you go into a tunnel, you can hear AM radio, but you can't hear FM radio. I don't know if people even know what radio is anymore.
Becky, any chance of a robotic knitting machine project?
No.
We already did a robotic knitting machine project.
Nothing is impossible, but not from me.
You did
we
one,
already
though.
did one.
You did
The knitting machine is its own robot, so why does it need to have a robot on top of it? But there's this really awesome German lady named Fabienne who did some other knitting machine.
She's not even German. She's French.
German. She's French.
She's French.
I thought she was in Germany.
But she hated France, so she moved to Germany.
Okay, so she's living in Germany. Anyway, she's
actually American.
She she did robots on knitting machine. I'm not gonna do it. The knitting machine hurts my shoulders.
Okay.
Do you still make those scarves or no?
Next up. Hi guys, I'm working on a reflow oven and my question is, does the temperature profile have to be really accurate?
No.
Okay. Any suggestions for a 12 volt TO220 regulator?
7812.
Okay. Becky, how long will your cross-stitch design take for a beginner to complete?
So I was talking to Phil about this, about 40 hours, but there's not a lot of variation whether you're a beginner or an expert.
It's just like 40 hours.
So like knitting, you can, if you're a beginner knitter, you'll knit really slowly, and then if you're really good at knitting, you'll knit really fast. So there's a high variable.
But cross stitch is
but
at the
like
same speed.
You're gonna get the hang of it in like 5 stitches, and then you're gonna go at the same speed as me. Like it's not really that much variation. So I would say about 40 hours of crafting enjoyment. And we were talking about how like you pay attention
that's like
off and on.
That's like how many seasons of Mad Men that you're watching.
I don't know.
It's like
a lot.
2 seasons.
So you can when you cross stitch, you can fill in a whole field of half stitches by paying attention to the pattern, and then watch your episode of Mad Men while you just fill in the other half of the X's. So like half of your brain, like your brain has to only be on for 20 of those hours.
All right. Next up. Someone says the Leonardo bootloader from the Arduino 1.01 works great on the Atmega 32.4. Very easy to burn from Arduino 1.01, and all the example works fine so far.
Great.
So that's good.
We'll think about it, but yeah.
Next up, will you be able to see the curvatures for the altitudes you're aiming for? That was a question for Budget Engineer. Good. People are asking each other questions.
Good.
Next up, Becky, you are a knitting robot.
Thank you.
No.
I can knit very fast.
Let's see. Someone said, would you consider being a crowdfunding platform? No, Kickstarter has that covered pretty well right now. We do products that we think people want, and then
we work
buy
with
them.
kit makers.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not always, but we do work with a couple kit makers, and basically we do the crowdsourcing for them by basically
paying for
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really neat the talk that we did at the Make Open Hardware event. Kickstarter kind of came out of nowhere, so a lot of people who are doing hardware now actually have that. Before it was, well, I could save money, get venture capital. Now it's like, well, I can come up with a design and I can get funding, like the low-cost 3D printers. There's like 10 of them on Kickstarter. If you want to make iPhone and iPad accessories, Kickstarter is pretty much filled with those. So it's a good platform for people who want to have products and maybe don't have the capital.
Yeah.
But fulfillment is the trick. That's the trick.
It's tough.
We'll see how many people get a Pebble Watch and see how soon, and it'll be an interesting story.
It's going to take a while.
The more, it seems like the more successful you
Also,
are, the more challenges there are. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Next up. Is your 16-channel PWM driver able to update 300 or 400 times a second, or does that only update to 50 hertz?
It can update as fast as you drive it, but the I2C frequency is 400 kilohertz. So I don't know exactly the limit of how fast you can update it, but pretty much you can update it as quickly as you can send I2C data. Check out the data sheet if you're really wanting to push the performance of it.
All right. Next.
Most servos only run at 60 hertz, so like you can't update it faster than that anyways. It doesn't do anything.
How less efficient is a bridge rectifier versus a FET bridge?
It's the drops of the two voltages divided by, the voltage that you're converting. I mean, the efficiency depends a lot about what you're converting, like what voltages, from AC to DC. But you can sit down and just do the math, and add up the voltage drops versus the FET drops and see how that works.
Okay. Next up, any suggestion on a place to have small runs about 25 of SMD boards populated?
I just do them by hand.
Yeah. 25, that's
about like you should do.
Yeah, that's when it takes too long, it gets a little too
it's a lot.
expensive for just a small run like that.
Yeah, by the time you
yourself.
send it out and the kit and
Yeah.
if you're doing that few, you're probably not going to spend the 10 hours required to document the process, and so they're not going to be able to do a good job assembling them.
Yeah. Someone said, someone at the World Science Fair slammed the maker DIY culture as reinventing old mistakes. How would you respond to that? Well, I'd have to hear...
These are really fun mistakes,
I-
though.
I-
and you learn by making mistakes.
Rock and roll's a mistake, but I love it.
I'd have to hear the whole thing in context, but in general, I've heard experts, because I wrote an article about how great it is to be a beginner, experts really don't like beginners kind of coming into their scene, because they're like, oh, you're making all the mistakes I did, but that's part of the joy of making and doing things. So without knowing too much, I would just say the maker movement is getting so good that now it can be criticized. It's getting so big that everyone can point to it and say, you should do this and you should do that. It's kind of taken off, and I like that people are starting to tell us what to do and how they would do it better. The trick is involving them and getting them to help and participate.
What I always thought was funny is that I always kind of wondered, like, there's usually engineers. Do they always imagine other engineers just burst out of an egg or something? I mean, every engineer starts with, oh, I was taking apart my VCR, and then I set this thing on fire, and then I totally destroyed my television, and then eventually I got good.
Right.
Right.
You have to start somewhere.
I mean, because you do knitting and sewing. The first 100 things I made on my sewing machine totally sucked. It was a waste of fabric.
Let's see. How many boards do you need to sell to consider a product a success?
I actually think a success is whether I really like it. Nothing gets into the Adafruit store unless I think it's a success.
Yeah.
So there's not actually a number where I'm like, oh, it's a failure or success. Nothing gets into the shop front until I think it's a success already. So something that works really well and I think is really well designed, that's to me is a success. It's not about how much money you make off of it.
Okay, next up, where'd it go? Will we ever carry digital servos?
I'm thinking about it. I do want to extend the line of servos we have, because right now we only have 3. I want to get some Metal Gear high torque servos, bigger servos, because now we have a servo driver. So yeah, I'm definitely looking into it, and maybe digital servos are part of it as well.
Yeah. What do you think is key for NFC acceptance in the U.S.? So I can answer that one. iPhone needs to have an NFC.
Yeah.
And Starbucks takes it for payment.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we have a Android phone that has NFC, and there's
my phone has NFC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My Android phone.
Yeah, and there's a few places like Dwayne Reed takes Google Payment, but the carriers want to have.
I just heard in Europe the post office is about to take NFC.
Yeah. So the two big things that have to happen is Starbucks and public transportation.
Yeah.
That's when it takes off in the U.S. basically.
Yeah.
Because all in 7 major markets, big cities with public transportation, and Starbucks. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Dwayne Reed has. I paid for my flu shot with a Google phone, but the carriers have this thing where they want a piece of it now.
Yeah.
So not
yeah,
all.
yeah.
So
now it's
not
gonna get split.
not all phones can do the right thing with Google Wallet and everything, because one carrier wants to have a piece of the
exclusivity.
Because AT&T is well, how come we're not making money off of Google Wallet? And they're because it has nothing to do with the phone system. And they're like, what do you want anyways?
Yeah.
It's
Let's
cool though.
see.
I didn't know my phone had NFC.
Is there a place to hook up a DIY antenna to the NFC shield?
There is not. Your DIY antenna will not be as good as the antenna on the board. You should just use the antenna on the board.
Yeah, it's a really good antenna.
Let's see. Someone really likes our iPhone app, and someone wants to know about the Android version. Probably when the Android market settles down.
There's too many versions right now.
There's too many versions. It's a little hard to develop for.
iOSs.
We're not ready to
And there's
say.
other ones that are already out.
There's a really good one.
Yeah, there's a good one that's free that's out. It's ad supported.
It's ad supported. Just keep that in mind. The other one.
But you should support people there.
But you can buy. What's funny is I encourage people to buy the one for Android, but they all use the ad-free one. Or the ad-filled one. The thing about Circuit Playground is it's not even close to having the feature set for us to say.
Yeah, we have 20
for us to
things
say,
on
well,
it.
let's see how this would make sense on a Windows 8 mobile phone. How would it make sense on an Android phone? But what I like is there's some consolidation starting to happen with the Android market. So the newest version is starting to pick up some steam,
Yeah.
and that's what we would like to target for instead of supporting all the previous
There's
ones.
4 and 3 and 2.5, and like nobody will upgrade.
Yeah.
And,
Any plans to carry an AT Tiny dev board for really simple projects?
we're thinking about it, but we're not sure exactly what we would want to carry. So, no.
You can program an AT Tiny with your.
Can we create a NFC main topic in the blog? That's interesting that a lot of folks.
love NFC.
I don't know. You know, we have RFID NFC as a blog topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Because most stuff we talk about is
yeah.
some kind of like
We have to
RFID.
because we have a product category.
Yeah.
You know, if you see really cool NFC news, send it
You
in.
should be suggesting them on the contact form.
Yeah, I cover stuff the best I can, but like the last thing we covered on the blog about RFID NFC was someone used our product at the public library. All those tags, tag stand. They bought like 100 of them. All right. Have you read about microsatellites? Sounds like the projects are converging on that concept. Yes.
I don't do any microsatellites.
Yeah. There are Arduinos in space.
Yes.
One of the microsatellites projects was in that.
Okay.
All right. Are you considering getting different types of RFID tags?
We have so many different.
We
kinds.
have so many different kinds right now. We have like 2 or 3 more different shapes that we might want to carry, but we pretty much have like every popular 13.56 megahertz MyFair
Like
card.
the business card size, the
Business card
sticker, the dongle, like the key fob.
Key fob, a clear ones, and then
Yeah.
opaque ones. Kind of have them all at this point. There's more, and we'll get them slowly. But try to
Good
get the
options
wristband
right now.
ones, maybe.
If someone wanted to learn how to cross stitch, Becky, where would they do that?
Where would you learn how to cross stitch? I made
Yeah.
a 5-minute long ultimate tutorial about cross stitching. You can go to our YouTube channel and find it there.
Yeah.
Check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. Because all it says subscribe.
Subscribe to our channel. Maybe someone will be kind enough to paste the link to that YouTube video in the chat.
Yeah.
It's like whenever I make a video about like a craft or like any kind of technique, right? It's got to be like I look and see what's out there. And I was looking and there's like these really popular cross stitch videos that have 250,000 views that are just like utter crap. They're just like out of focus. Can't see what's happening.
Yeah.
Really like 15
You're really
minutes
good at videos,
long.
though.
So I made like the cross stitch video. It's like short and concise and well lit and tells you exactly what to do if you're an absolute beginner.
Okay, we're gonna just go through these really fast. Can EL wire be hung on a wall?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Okay, is it okay to drill a small hole in the corner of the credit card size RFID reader?
Yeah, just make sure you're not hitting the antenna.
Yeah,
Okay.
watch out for that antenna, and don't drill it in the middle of the antenna either.
You can drill in the middle of the antenna, just don't put metal in the middle of the antenna. So
Well, why else would you want to put a hole in it?
We could put some plastic.
Yeah, like a zip tie.
Are there USA sources for resistor and caps? People are saying DigiKey. But
Yeah, you can mount it in.
can you name all the bins behind you? Yes, but
Yes.
it's boring. It's the product catalog.
But then we wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. Windshield, 9-volt holder, Mega Proto Shield,
You just-
LED bell.
we're
I
not
can see
gonna-
the data logger from
Yeah.
here.
Let's see. And I think we're
And
going to
these
call
are-
that...
package is ready to go out.
Yeah, we have a lot of packages. Any ideas on a robot kit for Arduino? We like the Bobot kit that we have.
the
We think
Bobot
that's the best
Bobot.
one
That's a
right
good
now.
beginner kit. It's a good solid case, and it comes with fantastic tutorials.
Yeah.
Parallax quality tutorials.
Learn.parallax.com.
Whole, like, curriculum of
Oh
projects.
yeah, for
and-
curriculum.
Yeah,
Yeah, check out the
Bobot.
the Bobot video you made, and also the learn.parallax.com. They just released the rest of the documentation. Speaking of products, go to Stitch tonight.
Stitch.
10% off many products in the Adafruit shop.
Yeah,
Including the
Stitchables.
Arduino Leonardo
for only 1 hour more.
and the Ohm Sweet Ohm cross stitch kit.
That's right.
Sweet Ohm.
Okay, we need to do trivia question.
Oh yeah.
Trivia question time. Trivia question. What are the rules, Lady Ada?
The rules are, if you're our friend and you've hung out with us and like drank with us and stuff, you can't enter this contest because you're a friend. If you've won a prize already, you can't enter this contest. So like sit on your hands or like go pet your cat or like walk your dog or something.
I recommend to play at home. You open a text window and type into that.
Yeah, you type in the text window, but you can't type into the chat because it's annoying when there's like 4 people who are like, "Oh, sorry, I won," but I put the
It's
answer.
very confusing. Give someone else a
Yeah.
chance.
Let everybody win something because we like it when everyone. Some people are like, "I've been watching the show for months, and this is the first time I can answer it."
Yeah.
And the prize today is a cross stitch kit?
Ooh, you will
Do you
get an
wanna-
Ohm Sweet Ohm cross stitch kit.
Okay, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
cross stitch kit. All right.
Yeah, I mean, like everyone loves to cross stitch.
Okay.
Ah, come
I
on.
was gonna just give away a matrix display. Here you go, kid. Enjoy.
You're an awful person.
Don't spend it in one place.
Thanks, mister.
You're gonna give the driver chip.
No.
Just the display.
Yeah.
Just like this just a piece of wire.
Yeah.
No, I think we should give away a cross stitch kit. 'Cause
Okay,
this
cross
is
stitch kit.
cool.
It's Stitch Night. The code is Stitch. Do you want me to go get the cat while you do the trivia?
Yeah. Well, no, you have to stick around. I'll get that in a second. All right.
I can sign.
Here's the trivia question. You ready?
Yeah.
Type it in the chat. Whatever one should I see first? What is the name of Becky's dog? She said the dog's name. What is the dog's name?
What?
The dog's not. The dog is nice, but that's not the dog's name.
She is very nice.
Both is not the dog's name.
It's not Her name is not Muscle.
It's not Ohm. It's not Spot. Can't remember.
Her name might have actually
SRC. Is it anywhere online, by the way? Oh, My Digital Home. Olive, got it.
You got it.
Olive Digital Home. You got it. You paid attention because we
Not
all.
Oliver, Olive. Because it's a she.
Yeah.
She.
My Digital Home. You got it. It's,
Good job. It is online. It's on my Flickr.
I
yeah.
know, but somebody asked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, My Digital Home.
Yeah,
Email
some kind of
support@adafruit.com.
But you did say in the video.
Yes.
Olive?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you also said.
And I said it while we were talking.
All right. Maybe you can show those two things. I'll get. Okay. Who's not?
You.
Congratulations, you win 40 hours of cross stitching.
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment. It's very relaxing, I find.
Yes. So how did you design this? What was your process in designing this?
I looked up like a resistor chart and
Okay.
a simple one, and then started to recreate it in Photoshop. So basically,
And
cross
what's
stitches.
this font? Is
I
this like
just-
a cross stitch font that you use?
I looked up some pixel fonts. So like,
Okay.
if you think about cross stitches, really low res,
14 DPI.
like 8-bit, yeah, 14 DPI graphics. So like, if you're into tiny pixel graphics, you can design cross stitch. So it's just like a pixel-friendly font, and then I just drew it out in a really small Photoshop file with the pencil tool.
Fat bits.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I drew on top of it in
And then
Illustrator.
you
for
can
the,
also customize what resistor you have. If you have a
Yeah, you
favorite
can make
resistor,
whatever.
you could always just substitute that in.
And there's the floss, like, we gave you an entire skein of each color, so you won't use all of it. So if you wanted to change the resistor color, you could totally have,
Yeah.
you totally have plenty of floss to do that. We actually gave you about twice as much floss as you need.
And this is, you said these are Super Mario Fireflowers?
They're just kind of inspired by Super Mario Fireflowers.
There must be a big community of like 8-bit video game cross stitches.
Yeah, totally. There's a blog that I like particularly called Sprite Stitch
Yeah.
that has lots of stuff.
Yeah, I love sprites.
Okay. Well, here's the moment everyone's waiting for.
Okay. Alright, just
Here's
show
your
us.
moment of cat. Yeah.
Cat judges
Tail
you
is-
silently.
Tail is wagging.
Yeah, because he's judging you.
The code. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. All right.
He wants to sit on my lap.
All right. We'll just hold them.
Yeah.
You guys are all wearing black. I can't tell where the cat is.
Yeah.
This is the cat right
Yeah. He's sitting on a pile of boxes of our new packaging. It's all black. All right. Just remember, we're doing something a little bit different this week. The code is Stitch. Remember, 10% off Leonardo's only for the next hour. So at midnight, this is over. And also Ohm Sweet Ohm.
And Adafruit kits.
And Adafruit kits, of course. So just remember. That'll be it. Okay, so special thanks to George Graves for everybody sticking around during the MTV Movie Awards and Ustream kind of bumping us off.
Yeah.
Bandwidth prioritizing.
Yeah. Someone said Justin Bieber must be singing. That's why we got our bandwidth back.
Oh, no.
Aw.
I don't mind Justin Bieber.
I don't really mind him.
You're
either.
a believer.
It's okay.
It's alright. Oh. It's nice.
You know, anyone who gets up on stage and like does anything now, you know, like
Good job.
yeah,
It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's cool.
Doing a show once a week is hard. I can't imagine being on tour and also being like
And he's
14
like,
or
he's
something.
Like 14,
yeah.
15, yeah.
Um,
Well, he's not 14, 16, 15 now, but still, I mean, like, can you
I
imagine?
know.
It's like you're
Crazy.
gawky kid.
Hard
And,
working. Hard working.
Thanks
Can
to
appreciate hard
Phil,
work.
Paint Your Dragon, who showed up, John Janier, and Phil, who made this awesome case.
Dragon Claws.
We'll see everybody next week. More big news, more new products. Here is your moment of Zener.
Of cat.
Well,
Oh, you okay? You made a noise. You went glork.
Glurk.
Cat glork.